Hello everybody and welcome into today's video. Today I'm very excited because we're going to be talking about everything we know about the next update for Disney Dreamlight Valley. Now there's a lot we have confirmed about the new update from the 2023 roadmap that we got earlier this year, and there's even more that we can speculate about based on all of the reveals we've had in the 1 year of early access and even before that. Now we're recently coming off of one of the most anticipated, if not the most anticipated update of Disney Dreamlight Valley so far, Enchanted Adventure featuring Belle and Beast and the Beauty and the Beast realm, which I've absolutely been loving. Based on the pattern of the updates, we're most likely going to be able to expect the next update around the end of November if the pattern of updates coming approximately every 2 months holds. This timing is actually going to be important based on something we discuss later in the video. Now that feels like it's still quite a bit away, but with weekly Dream Snaps challenges and an in-game Halloween event still to come, the time is going to absolutely fly by. This next update seems like it's going to be a really big one. So let's take a look at the updated 2023 roadmap and use it to frame some of the information we've gotten from spoilers, teasers, and general reveals over the past year and beyond. This might be a little bit of a long one, so grab a drink, grab a snack, grab a blanket, and settle in as we talk about all things Disney Dreamlight Valley end of 2023 update. The first thing on the roadmap for the end of 2023 is that a new chapter begins. Now this section of the video includes some spoilers about the Remembering update, so if you haven't completed that Forgotten Land story content and don't want any information regarding it, you can skip forward to the next section of the video using the time cards. Now, with the Remembering update we received in June, the first main story arc involving uncovering the secret of the Forgetting, a magical curse of sorts that's been affecting the valley, was wrapped up. This was a huge moment in the game, and the culmination of the major story elements we've been exploring throughout the first several months of the game. With the Forgetting resolved and one less mystery in the valley, our next update will be ushering us into the next era of the story, the arc we can anticipate the next several story updates to be exploring. There are several directions this could take. The first one has to do with Jafar. One of the biggest surprises of the Remembering update was a scene at the end of the update that showed Jafar's silhouette in the Dark Castle. This seems like a very strong indicator that he'll either be arriving to the valley or at least making an appearance in the next story update. While we don't have any specifics about what he's been up to or what kind of chaos he could be causing, it definitely seems like many of the villains of the valley have been up to no good. Maybe there's a larger plot at play with them, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jafar is involved. But Jafar is known to be incredibly ambitious and power hungry, so there's also a good chance that he could be flying solo, orchestrating some sort of scheme to gain position or power. The second direction we could see the story taking is featuring Skull Rock. When we left off with the Remembering, Merlin was doing some investigating about Skull Rock. It definitely seems like something's been going on there. More of my villagers have been spending time on that island, just staring at Skull Rock recently, and some, like the Forgotten, have even been making blatant statements about it, saying how it seems suspicious, or they have emerging memories about the rock or spending time inside of it. Skull Rock is straight out of the Peter Pan animated movie, a location that Captain Hook was known to use for nefarious purposes, and the setting of one of multiple fights between the Captain and Peter Pan. It seems likely that this spot in the valley could be a place where one of the Peter Pan characters is currently trapped, like Ursula in her cave, Scar in his home, Olaf in his cave, and so on. I've also seen some speculation that it could potentially serve as a way for us to travel to a different area of the valley, like more mines, possibly Atlantis, possibly Neverland. And while I think the first of these possibilities is maybe more likely, I'm so excited to see what mysteries and answers Skull Rock has for us, which has to be pretty soon with all the attention it's been getting recently. This definitely seems to be something we'll be exploring in the next arc of the story, and I'm incredibly interested to see whether it is or how it is involved in the Jafar storyline we're probably getting. The third story element we've had floating around for the entirety of the game now is Atlantis. It's the option I'm most intrigued by and most anticipating, the ancient civilization. This is a society that existed well before the valley became what it is now, and its echoes reverberate throughout both the locations of the valley and all the story we've experienced so far. From locations in the valley like the Pillars and the Orbs, the Glade Waterfalls, the Mystical Cave, and the Frosted Heights Cave, to quest items like the Leadership Crystal's Pedestal and the Chronicles of the Ancients, this ancient civilization is pretty much everywhere we look and extremely consistent with Atlantis as represented in the amazing and criminally underrated piece of cinema that is Atlantis: The Lost Empire. The Atlantean alphabet at this point is a staple in the valley, and the signature blue illumination that manifests with its magic can be seen extensively. Like Skull Rock, the references regarding Atlantis have been increasing in frequency in recent updates, though they've always been there, and it's hopefully only a matter of time until we begin a dedicated journey to uncovering its secrets, possibly traveling there, and hopefully finding Milo and Kita and bringing them to the valley. This type of sprawling adventure, sure to contain myriad discoveries, seems like the perfect story arc and could potentially be something explored in the next era of the Dreamlight Valley story. The next thing on the roadmap is new characters. Typically with story updates, we've received one character, though in the Festival of Friendship story update, we did receive both Olaf and Mirabelle. It seems like in this upcoming story update, we'll be inviting at least 2 new characters to the valley. There are multiple possibilities of who these characters could be. Any of the characters we talked about when discussing the new story arc seem like strong possibilities, but besides that, we also have several characters we've seen in trailers and promotional material for the games that we've still yet to receive. Sully from Monsters Inc., Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph, Eve from WALL-E, Rapunzel from Tangled, Cinderella, obviously from Cinderella, and Timon and Pumbaa from Lion King have all been seemingly confirmed to be coming to the game since the release of Early Access in September of 2022. So we should hopefully see those characters arriving soon, possibly even one or more of them in the next update. Next up on the roadmap is New Frontiers. Frontiers isn't currently a term we have in-game, so there are multiple things that this could mean. One interpretation is that it could mean new realms. We currently have 7 realms available in the castle, but over 20 more doors available as possible future realms. So far, we haven't ever received any realms in a story update, but it's possible that this upcoming update could be the first time it happens. Another possibility is that frontiers in this case could be referring to biomes. On our map, we do still have a couple areas that are represented, but not currently accessible. One is to the north of the Frosted Heights, and while I don't necessarily believe that this area will open up, there's another region on the map that looks more promising. That would be Donut Mountain to the north of the Forgotten Lands. The way it's depicted on the map looks more like it could be altered to show a biome in the future, and the size makes sense to possibly become one. There are a few suspicious looking areas in the Forgotten Lands that definitely seem like they could open up to reveal a passage to a new area to the north, so we'll have to wait and see. While these 2 options are definitely possible, it seems like either the word realms or biomes would be used on the roadmap if this were the case. The use of the word frontiers seems like it may be referring to something new altogether. This section of the video will also discuss some spoilers of the Remembering update, so please skip ahead to the next section if you wish to avoid those. In the Remembering update, we find ourselves in the Dark Castle, where there are many mysterious things for us to find. The one that seems most relevant here is the depiction of a map that showcases our valley and another floating island near it. This island is separated into 3 sections in a way that's similar to our valley being separated into biomes. It seems like the new frontiers being referenced in the roadmap could be this alternate or additional valley. Maybe we'll find some way to access this additional area, possibly through this door that we still don't know anything about, and this new area could have 3 of its own unique biomes that we can hopefully also explore and decorate. Maybe this area was also under our jurisdiction as ruler of the valley, and with the forgetting, Jafar has somehow gained control over this region. That could lead to a really interesting interesting story of us resuming our role as ruler over there. I really like this theory, and I hope it's the one that's true, but we'll just have to wait to find out for sure. What I do know is that my valley is quickly filling up, so some additional space to place villagers' houses or decorate would be much appreciated. Next up on the roadmap is multiplayer. This has been one of the most anticipated features since it was announced over a year ago. It's also one of the things that we have had the least amount of actual information regarding. The term multiplayer in relation to Dreamlight Valley first appeared during a pre-early access release community challenge in which the community could unlock specific items and features for all players of the game. This community challenge is what also brought us things like villager skins and, as a bonus surprise, house skins, among some other really exciting things that we're still waiting on that we'll discuss later in this video. In the community challenge, multiplayer was described as valley visits, so we can anticipate that at the very minimum we'll be able to travel to other players' valleys and explore their unique and amazing valley designs. This seems confirmed by the only direct quote from a game lofter that I could find about multiplayer. This was from a GameSpot article from January of this year, where Dreamlight Valley's lead producer and its marketing lead at the time were interviewed. When asked about multiplayer, the lead producer shared the following quote: "The idea is to be able to show off your great collection or your great work, like if you spend a lot of time customizing your character, making sure people can see it. Gameloft hopes to give even more meaning to spending hours placing decorations around or designing the perfect dress." So there are a lot of things that we don't know still about multiplayer. Many players in the community are hoping for options to play together, trade items, shop in each other's stores, and share Touch of Magic designs. But unfortunately, we'll have to wait for more information from Gameloft, or possibly for multiplayer to actually arrive for us to see its full extent and possibilities. I'm excited to see how this feature is introduced in-game. It seems like there's a strong chance that Ralph could be involved in how we access multiplayer features. Vanellope did bring us stream snaps, which, while it doesn't feel exactly like the multiplayer feature we've been expecting, it does bring the community together in-game by allowing us all to see and vote on other players' stream snap submissions. Additionally, the main premise of the movie Ralph Breaks the Internet revolves around Ralph and Vanellope discovering that the internet exists and using it to have brand new experiences, meet new characters, and explore other worlds that they never had access to before. This could easily be dressed up as a way for us to explore other players' valleys within Dreamlight Valley, so I hope to see a fun, creative introduction of multiplayer implemented when we do receive it. Next up on the roadmap is a new royal tool. The introduction of a new tool in Dreamlight Valley is an incredibly intriguing aspect of the roadmap. Since the launch of early access, we've never received a new tool before. We also don't have too much information provided from Gameloft to go off of when trying to unpack the mystery of this new tool, but there are some compelling theories floating around in the community. The first would be a bug net. In a lot of games that are similar to Dreamlight Valley, there's a strong bug-catching feature in-game. While we don't currently have a museum where we can donate our valley finds to display, and we don't have a lot of creatures roaming around the valley that would be catchable via net, we did have butterflies introduced in an update for the game. While these may continue to be just fun visual effects in our valley, it seems like many people are thinking or hoping that it will evolve into a bug-catching mechanic and will receive a royal bug net as our new tool. I've also seen people speculate that we might be getting some sort of diving suit or some apparatus that allows us to go underwater. The primary point of this type of a tool would be to allow us access to the ocean off the coast of our beach, and possibly access to an underwater biome if one is introduced. Another theory is that the new tool is going to help us access multiplayer valley visits. It's hard to say what exactly this tool would be, but it would be something we could use or interact with to gain access to other players' valleys, to be able to go and take a tour or enjoy whatever other features multiplayer has to offer. I think this is the most likely to be the function of whatever new tool we receive, but only time will tell. Speaking of time, the last prevalent theory I've encountered is that the royal tool will be an hourglass. This mostly stems from the image of an hourglass that represents the last update of this year on the roadmap. While this may just be a nod to the Aladdin universe, it very well could be a sneak peek at the new tool we're getting. We don't really seem to have many uses for an hourglass type tool in our valley. Possibly it could be used to expedite the growth rate of crops or the spawn rate of certain items, but my favorite favorite theory and my somewhat overly optimistic hope is that the hourglass will be used to send our character back in time to the ancient civilization. While I don't necessarily think this particular theory will come to fruition, it does still seem like we could receive an hourglass tool that may have a different function that we haven't even considered yet. The final thing on the list of what to expect in the next update is other magical surprises, and there are quite a few things that this could entail, even when we just look at things we already know about. The first is the star path. We know for sure that we'll be getting a new star path with the next update, and while we haven't had any teasers about the theme yet, it seems likely that it will at least have a nod towards the festive winter holidays. This brings in the timing of the update again, whereas the end of November would be the perfect time to give people enough time to start working on the star path, gather the items, and still decorate in time for the winter holidays. Last year, we had the Villain Star Path, which was loosely Halloween themed. Then we had the Festive Star Path, which had many items that were primarily Christmas and winter themed. So far this autumn, we've received the Haunted Holiday Star Path, which has strong ties to Halloween. So it seems like there's a good case for the game wanting to continue to celebrate the major holidays of the season in the Star Paths, which would mean that a Winter Holiday Star Path could be coming. The next 3 things we can possibly expect to be arriving in the next update are things we've been anticipating since before the launch of Early Access. In 2022, a community challenge took place where people could wishlist the game and follow its various social media accounts in order to unlock rewards for all players. So far, we've seen some of these rewards implemented already, things like house skins and villager skins. Multiplayer valley visits were part of this community challenge as well, which it seems like we may be getting this year. The item from this challenge that most people seem to be aware of and anticipating most is the partner statue. This is going to be an in-game representation of the absolutely iconic statue of Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse that is present in the majority of the Disneyland and Disney World parks around the world. In October of 2022, Dreamlight Valley shared an image of the concept art for the statue, stating that once it's completed, every player will receive this statue in their in-game mailbox. Over a year after originally seeing that concept art, it remains an item that the community is eagerly anticipating, and it would be exactly the kind of magical surprise that would be amazing to receive in the next update. A less talked about reward from the community challenge is the Heroic Clothing Set, or Heroes Armor Clothing. Disney Dreamlight Valley has referred to it as both of these titles. With all we do for the Valley, it seems fair to say that we are its hero, and this armor set is suitably noble and majestic to fit such a role. The concept art for this set was originally shared in August of 2022, and we really haven't heard anything about it since then. It looks incredibly detailed and beautiful. Both the purple and gold accents and the flower or sun emblem are reminiscent of Rapunzel in the Tangled movie, so perhaps we can expect this item at the same time that Rapunzel finally makes her appearance. But it's also possible that it may be one of the surprises coming next update. I really hope so. The last community challenge reward we're still waiting for is much less likely to come in the next update, but maybe we'll at least get some news regarding it. That is the community-designed companion. The Dreamlight Valley team shared that a campaign for the community to design a brand new companion for the game would be launched in early access. So far, we haven't heard anything about this since. Whether that means that we have a bit longer before we get full release than some of us are hoping, or that this timeline has been pushed potentially into full release, we don't know yet. We also don't know whether this companion will be a totally new animal type, or if it will be a reskinned or costumed version of one of the critters we already have in game. Hopefully the new update will come with the launch of this campaign so the community can pitch in to design a fun new companion for all of us to have following us around in game. A final major thing that the community is anticipating is the full release of the game, when we move out of early access and the game becomes free to play. Throughout 2022, Gameloft representatives made multiple references to 2023 being the year that full release would come for Dreamlight Valley. It would be amazing if this was still the case. Honestly, the timing seems perfect, with the Cozy Edition, the physical version of the game, coming out on October 27th, the holidays right around the corner, and the game entering its brand new era after the completion of the first story arc. It seems like an ideal time to release the game fully and bring in a whole new player base. There do seem to be a lot of new things coming in the game in the next update, and a big full release content drop with a host of new characters, quests, and features seems like it would be a perfect recipe for full release. However, even though the Dreamlight Valley website still says that the game is set to fully release in 2023, Gameloft seems to have not made mention many comments recently, if at all this year, about 2023 still being the intended release for the game, and no hints have really been provided to indicate that full release is coming sooner rather than later. Hopefully in the coming weeks, we'll learn more about the future of the game and its anticipated release, and hopefully we'll be surprised with that full release coming before the end of the year. And that wraps up everything we know about the next update in Disney Dreamlight Valley and the still undelivered rewards from last year's community challenge. I'm so excited to start getting teases and hints at what the next update has for us. Hopefully that'll start within the next few weeks. Let me know what you're most anticipating in the next update and what fun theories you have for what we might see in the next story arc. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It helps the channel out so much. Be sure to subscribe for more Disney Dreamlight Valley content and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my videos or when I go live playing DDV or any of the other fun cozy games we stream on the channel. As always, a very special thank you to our members of the channel. Your support honestly means the world to me and helps me continue to do what I do over here on YouTube. And to Kitty and Prib, our Gilded Lily tier members, I love you both so much and appreciate you, and thank you for the additional support and everything you do for the community. That wraps up today's video. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and I will see you all really soon.